It's the 8 for 52 podcast. G'day, Buschy here, and this is episode 29 of the 8 for 52. No Bodders this week. He's off auditioning for the role of skinny drunkard at the end of the bar for Coronation Street or something. Who knows where he is? DM us on Insta or email. Of course, I don't have access to either of those two accounts, so no idea if anyone has contacted us. Let's just say you have, and thanks for dropping us a line. This week we've got all last week's results in outs and ins. Infidels beat Optimists in a thriller and are off to the Div 2 Grand Final and chance of promotion. And it's demotion for Little Saiwan after a winless season in Div 1. In ins and outs we talk about that promotion on the line when HKCC Wanderers meet the KCC Infidels this Sunday. And in Sky Plaza Road, the UAE warm-ups are done and the main course being the ACC Premier Cup getting underway on Friday, April 12th. We interview Hong Kong China men's head coach Simon Willis from Oman. And by we, I mean me, as Bodders is off buying a sheep farm outside Cardiff or something. Simon gives us the skinny on the UAE warm-up matches, a preview on the ACC Premier Cup, and tells us about a few injuries to the side going in. This is the 8 for 52 podcast with Bodders and Buschy, with no Bodders. On with the show, giddy up. It's time for outs and ends. A full wrap of senior cricket games in Hong Kong from last weekend. Here's Bodders. Not here's Bodders, it's where's Bodders. No idea where he is, so are we doing outs and ins today? And we're going to start up the hill for the Sunday Div 1 huge match that was the Scorpions versus Pakistan Association Cricket Club, a spot in the final up for grabs. Pak needed to win by a big margin to make the grand final and went up the hill to try to do so. Batting first and a big middle order runs led by Haseeb Mohammed. Well done, Haseeb. Congratulations. 65 to him. Malik, 51, and Ehsan Nawaz, 56. Set them up with 300 for 8 and a shot at the grand final. Danny Mapp was awesome with his bowling. His 10 overs were 5 for 38, taking his All-Stars form into that game. Scorpions lost lots of wickets through the middle order, but 62 from Haroon Ashad and 56 from Luke Jones allowed them to get to 237, which saw them get the loss, but were beaten by such a small margin that they got through to the grand final. So congratulations to the Scorpions. The back getting so close there. Little Saiwan and Vagabonds in Div 1 also had a bit of a battle. The battle was to see who was going to be relegated. Batting first, the Vagabonds put on 193 via 78 from Anas Khan, and despite a valiant 67 from Rajab Hussain, 193 was enough to see USRC Vagabonds stay in Div 1 as they rolled Little Saiwan for 137. LSW stay winless and will ply their trade in Div 2 next year as they are out of Div 1. They're out of there. They're relegated. In Sunday Div 2, Little Saiwan flogged the Lions in a match that had no impact on the season at all, so I won't be mentioning any more about that. There was one big game in Sunday Div 2, however. It was the Infidels versus the Optimist. We called this game live down at KCC, and what a game it was. The Opties won the toss and, surprisingly, went into bat. With the weather looking a bit dodgy, they still decided that batting first was optimal, and they lost 2 early wickets. Connor Hickey and George Loop not getting into double figures, but then a sublime 91 from Shiv Matha, also taking his All-Stars form into the adult format, and a 70 from the superstar Salhal Malvinkar, whom we've heard is probably coming back next season. That'll be a big win for the HKC sides. They finished on 245 after 50, and we thought, that's a pretty good score. And then out to bat, they did all right, but then the weather came in. Mo Khan always got plenty of lines, but got to 45. Botfield didn't trouble the scorers. And then the lightning, the thunder, it became very, very exciting with all the action. The covers came out. We thought perhaps the game was washed off. That was at 19 overs, needed one more over to get through to a full match. And then the thunderstorm warning was lifted and we went back out. And DLS wasn't kind to the Infidels, being set 62 off 48 to win. And young Will Walsh, also in the All-Stars, one of the captains for the under-16s All-Stars, went out there and said, I don't care, and went smash, 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 smash. They ended up scoring 48 off 68, including 7 4s and 1 6s, and he was helped out by Devang Balsara, who was not out on 32. They won with 14 balls to spare. And the Infidels, they're on their way to the Div 2 final. What a game of cricket that was. We'll run through the Div 1 batting and bowling cards first. At the top, Nazakat Khan, 415 at 138.33, hoping his form will continue in the T20 format over there in Oman. And also in Oman, in second spot, Azaz Khan, 383 at 191.5. What a average that is. And Jamie Atkinson in third place, 296 at 74. Bowling table tops is Paris Benny Singh for the Vagabonds. He got 15 wickets at 28.6 and 2 tied on 14. Jay Davidson at 9.93 and Imran Arif at 18.96. So the table for Sunday Elite Div 1 finished with 3 teams on 15. Outrageous. Had no idea who was going to go into the final right to the last moment. But the Templars, in the end, safe with a big net run rate on top. They will host the final on Sunday, April 21st. And as you heard, Scorpions scraping on through, and they'll play down here at KCC on that Sunday. Pack so close to making it. They were out by 0.2 of a net run rate. And down the bottom, well, we had the 2 USRC teams tied on 6 and Little So 1 without a win, only 3 points from abandoned games. They're going down to Div 2 next season. Let's talk about Div 2, the batting table. At the top has it been all season. Jason Loy, 451 and 56.3 out. Salha Malvinkar from HKCC, 428 runs at 107. That's 70 he scored against the Infidels, meant that his average dropped by 12 runs. Imagine being that good. And Mo Khan, 408 at 51. Bowling top, Addy Canton got 27. No one else even close at an average of 10.7. In second place, tied was Atif Faiz with 19 and Arthur Chu, also 19 at 28.37. So the table in the end for Div 2, the Wanderers were always safe on 16. It was just a matter of who was going to play them this weekend, and it ended up being the Infidels, 1 point back on 15 points. The Opties miss out on 13. Then there's a Little So On Knights on 7, the Sri Lankan Lions on 5, and at the bottom, the CHK Dragons. In Saturday Cup, let's cover Saturday Cup quickly. Nomads beat Little So On Thunder, Charlie Bears beat HKU, Tartars and Lama was a washout, and HKCC Witherers beat the Punjab Lions. So there you have it, that's Outs and Ins for episode 29.
It's time for Ins and Outs, with all the weekend senior games covered. Here's Butters.
Here's Butters, not talking at all. It'll be Buschy doing the ins and outs this week. And we've got that huge final up the hill, Sunday Div 2 Grand Final, HKCC Wanderers versus the KCC Infidels. Whoever wins is going up to Div 1 next season. That's on Sunday, April 14. I'll put my tips in on that one. After all the COVID issues of Infidels not making it up, I've got my fingers crossed for the Infidels to get that one in. But the Wanderers very strong as well. That's going to be a huge game. And Saturday Cup on April 13, got HKU versus Little Saiwan Sky Warriors. I'll tip HKU. Saracens versus Laguna Gully. I will go with Laguna Gully. Saracens still in the never ever been. Kaitak versus HKCC Gap Ramblers. Gap Ramblers in that one. SCC Lancers versus USRC Lions. I don't know. I'll have a stab and say the Lancers. And Centaurs versus Punjab Lions. I'll pick the Centaurs in that one. So they're the games this weekend. Another great weekend of cricket in ins and outs. And there's also international action coming up. And that's coming up right now in Sky Plaza Road. All right, there's the big bird. That means it's Sky Plaza Road time. I'm going solo. Botters is, I don't know, in a Weatherspoon or something, drinking warm pints of beer. But coming up very shortly for the internationals, it's the Hong Kong-China men's team at the ACC Premier. And we're going to get the lowdown with the coach of Hong Kong-China, Simon Willis, who is joining us from Oman. I don't know, good morning, good afternoon to you, Simon.
Yeah, it's definitely the afternoon here. It's 2:10. And a very hot sunny day.
Okay, so you've made it to Oman, but we're going to back it up a little bit And let's have a chat about the UAE tour, your warm-up tour. You played 3 games in Dubai before heading to Oman. How did you feel that tour went for the team?
Yeah, well, we were very lucky. We had some excellent facilities to train on at the ICC Academy in Dubai. So our practice wickets were superb, and our match wickets were very similar, we believe, to what we're going to play on here. Talking to the UAE guys, we tried to get something that would give us good opportunities to learn before we got out here. We had a few challenges off the field with injuries and sickness. So the teams had to change on that basis. We would have liked to have kept our strongest team for the majority of the trip, but unfortunately a hand was forced, but that allowed opportunities for other players that probably wouldn't have got the game time that they did.
Now, against the UAE, you went 0-3, but as you were trying out new things for the team, and also, obviously, you just said illness and injury, I'm going to run through that, actually. Firstly, my biggest watching it on the scoreboard, it was always each game was guess where Yasser Murtaza is going to bat. Was that just an experimentation?
No, it was injury. As you probably saw, we lost 2 batters. We lost Anshuman Ruth. He had a double injury. He had a wrist injury and then took one on the finger. Suspected fracture, but thankfully that proved not to be. And then Martin Kurtzi went down sick. He had a sickness bug that unfortunately Danjaya Rayo had as well earlier in the trip. So that made us have to think about the batting order. Yassim has opened up in the past with great success. So it's just a natural fit, really, at the end of the day.
So can you give us an update on Ant and Martin?
Until we train tomorrow, we won't know the condition. We got 4 players that will be fitness tested tomorrow, 2 bowlers and 2 batters.
Well, that doesn't sound ideal for the start, given it's only 2 days away from when we're recording. April 12 is where it kicks off. And let's have a look at those games for the ACC Premier Cup. You're going to start on Friday the 12th, and that's against Qatar, I believe.
That's correct. Yeah, we're playing on the second ground here in Oman. This is my first experience of being here, so had to do quite a lot of research and listen to guys that have obviously had great success here previously with Hong Kong, China. So Qatar, we played recently in 3 T20Is in their backyard. They'll be a dangerous side to play against. Their ball strikers, brought up from tape ball cricket will certainly have an impact at some stage during the tournament. But the pleasing thing for us has been that our bowling really has made strides in the last couple of months.
So you're happy with that bowling lineup you got now? DJ Rao, Atiq Iqbal, plus the ones that have always been there like Ayush and Nazrullah?
Oh, look, we're still juggling. We're still trying to find the right combination. But I think the improvements in executing the game plans are shown in the amount of extras that we haven't bowled. A year ago in this tournament, we were giving away 20 runs plus in extras. In the 3 games we just played in the UAE, I think we were well under 6 extras, which you can only give the bowlers credit for the hard work they've put in. We're starting to see the rewards for that. So that was excellent. And our catching has been superb. We took 3 or 4 outstanding catches in the UAE. And I think we took every opportunity that came along. So that side of the game is encouraging, and I think that's the most important side if we're going to win games consistently.
Now you've got Qatar that you played in a tournament recently and won in that super over with Bubba going mad. So you know what's coming up there, but the then game on Sunday against Saudi Arabia. When was the last time Hong Kong, China played Saudi Arabia, do you know?
Certainly not during my time, and certainly a long time ago. So, we've obviously seen them play in other tournaments that we've been involved in. Similar to Qatar is our expectations. Lots of tape ball cricketers that come out and hit the ball hard. We've obviously done our research, tried to get a better understanding of their individual players. And obviously we will discuss that nearer the time. But the first goal is obviously to beat Qatar.
So you got Qatar, then a day off, then you've got Saudi Arabia, and then the massive game on Monday backing up on the back of Saudi Arabia against a full-strength Nepal. You beat Nepal in a T20 here in Hong Kong, but that wasn't the full side. How's the team feeling about looking at playing the full strength going to the World Cup Nepal?
Yeah, we just try to encourage the players not to worry about the opposition. We know if we play our best cricket, we can beat anybody. And that's all we're in control of. So there's a lot of emphasis on understanding your roles, understanding, what your strengths are and playing to them accordingly. So it's more about what we can control rather than worrying about the opposition.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, a good lead up this year, and also earlier, that the last game before the semi-finals is Malaysia, who you did the one-day series against. So 3 of the 4 teams you've been playing against in the last 3 months. Does that help the team?
Absolutely. There was a lot of work went into our strategic planning of oppositions over the course of the last 6 months. A lot of work done by Chris Pickett with regards to the teams that we should be looking to play against. And we've got lucky with this group. As you say, there's 3 out of the 4 that we've played, and that can only benefit us.
If you go through to the semi-finals, that will be Friday week, April 19th, and hopefully you will. And if you do, we're going to try to get some more interviews perhaps with the players going into that semi-final. Now, Botters, as I said, he's AWOL, but he did send me through a question. So this is the question to you after the ACC. I'm going to read it out in... All he wrote, moving past Premier Cup, the important Challenge League coming up, the first stage of earning back ODI status and ODI World Cup. Any idea when it might get underway?
Okay, well, we've obviously had the groups announced, so we know who's in our group. Now it's down to the ICC letting us know who's going to host. And then when it comes down to hosting, it's negotiating when those matches are going to be played. All I know is that the ICC want to try and get 1 round in this year, 1 round in next year, and 1 year the following. So 3 rounds in the next 3 years, basically. So
is there a chance they're going to come to Hong Kong?
Well, we certainly put a bid in to host.
Okay, that'd be cool.
But the competition, I don't believe, will start probably until November this year at the earliest. Because August we have T20 World Cup qualifiers, so nothing's going to start before then. So
you got the T20 World Cup qualifiers in August, did you just say? And can you tell us about that? Who and where you're playing?
Yeah, it's slightly different groupings this stage. We have to qualify for the Asian regionals, so we've got to go to Malaysia. For those qualifiers, and then obviously hopefully early next year we'll go to the Asian qualifiers for the World Cup.
Okay, and Botters also asked a question. In your view, is there a different skill set required between the 20 over and the 50 over format?
Oh, look, I think I think technically more efficient players are successful in the 50 over game, and that's why you see more players transition from 50 overs to 20 overs than maybe 20 overs to Test cricket, as it were. So for us, probably 50 overs is our strongest suit, I'd say, with the skill set we've currently got. But like I said earlier, if we play our best cricket, we should be beating teams comfortably.
So you're looking at doing T20s now for the ACC Premier and then into the World Cup qualifiers in August. Then you've got that, 3-month crossover where you're going to change up the team and get your strongest for when that competition for the Challenge League starts.
Well, yeah, at the moment we just got to sit and wait, Aaron. ICC and ACC things can change quite dramatically at the last minute, so we can't get too far ahead at the moment. We have a plan, and we want to be able to link domestic cricket into that. We want the guys to be playing domestic club cricket in the lead up to those tournaments, to give them as much confidence as possible. rather than having to go from, say, T20 format into the 50-over format straight away.
Well, you've got the games coming up on Friday, starting this huge ACC Premier Cup. It's against Qatar, Hong Kong, China, looking to go to the semi-finals a week later. Simon Willis, head coach of Hong Kong, China, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule there in Oman and joining us on the 8 for 52 podcast.
No problem, Aaron. All the best.
And now it's time for Buschy's birthday bonanza.
Okay, just let me channel my slightly tipsy bodice here. It's time for everyone's favourite segment of the week, the one everybody waits for. It's Buschy's birthday bonanza. Yes, it is. It is Buschy's birthday bonanza. And 2 birthdays this week in the database. And starting Saturday, April 13th, it is a very happy birthday to Amanda Chung, who plays for the Cricket Hong Kong China women's team, and also Craig Gower in the Premier League. Happy birthday to Amanda. And one more from USRC on the 17th of April. It is Muhammad Awas. 2 birthdays this week. Happy birthday, Amanda. Happy birthday, Muhammad. There it is. Buschy's birthday bonanza done for another week.
Hi guys, my name is Akbar Khan. I play for USRC. I was the Premier League player for 2022 and 2023. You're listening to 8 for 52 with Borders and Buschy.
There it is. That brings to an end episode 29 of the 8 for 52 podcast. The second one, I believe, I've had to do solo. We got through it pretty quickly, really, without all of Botter's banter. Maybe we'll do that more often. Jokes, we'll have Botter's back next week, hopefully, when we can track him down. He's probably somewhere up near Loch Ness trying to grab himself a Nessie. Who knows where he is? That is it for the 8 for 52 podcast. Of course, all the ACC Premier games are going to be broadcast, so make sure you cheer on the Hong Kong China men's team. And thank you very much again to the head coach of Hong Kong China, Simon Willis, for giving us a call all the way from Oman and giving us the lowdown on how the team is faring. We'll keep the updates going, and next week we'll have all the results right up towards the semi-final for the ACC Premier Cup on April 19. We'll be doing a podcast just before those semi-finals take place. Also, another great big birthday. Well done. Happy birthday to Amanda and Muhammad. And, of course, lots of cricket action this weekend, including the big Div 2 final up the hill. Go check it out if you can. Hong Kong Cricket Club Wanderers versus the KCC Infidels, who will be in Sunday Elite Division 1 next season. Find out in that huge game, and we'll have the results covered next week in the 30th episode of the 8 for 52 podcast. But for now, the episode 29 is in the books. Thanks for listening in, and join us next week. See ya.
The 8 for 52 theme song is The Coin Toss from the band The Duckworth-Lewis Method. Find them on Apple iTunes and YouTube and download that song and all their other cricket-related music.
The 8 for 52 podcast is written, produced and published by Matt Botfield and Aaron Bush for Trip Ahead Limited. Copyright 2024.